guys, welcome back. So today we're out here shooting my KSG. This is my second KSG. If you follow the channel for a while, you'll know that my first KSG I had some problems with, but I've since replaced. I just couldn't pass up the gun. I really wanted the KSG. I wanted to fall in love with the gun, and so I figured I'd give it another shot. Fortunately for me, this one's been rock solid. I really enjoy shooting this little bullpup. The only problem I've had with it is a continuing problem, is where it will hit me in the wrist. Right now I have a winter coat on, so it's not a problem. But that I've discovered after having a number of people shoot the gun and watching it being shot. I found that that problem is really related to how long your forearm is. I have ape-like features, and so my arm is so long that it actually sets underneath this ejection port. With a shorter forearm, your arm tends to stay out of the way of that ejection port, and you won't have the problem. So anyway, I just wear a wrist protector when I'm shooting it in warm weather. But the only thing I really don't like about the shotgun right now, besides that, is the fact that it's just too darn noisy. I mean, listen to this thing. It's loud as heck. There's got to be some better way to shoot this thing, especially given how short it is. There we go, all fixed. It should be much quieter now. What am I doing? I don't need these anymore. Get rid of that. That's awesome. That's standard velocity 12 gauge, that's bird shot, it's 8 shot, it's Federal. I am using that ammunition courtesy of Federal, and it's not subsonic. That is breaking the sound barrier. Trying to find a subsonic load for 12 gauge can be a bit challenging, but all that noise that you're hearing is coming from downrange, that shot breaking the sound barrier. Back here where I'm shooting the shotgun, it's pretty darn quiet. Now the KSG will hold 7 rounds in each tube. It has 2 tubes, so that gives you 14 rounds total. Not only have I got the shotgun suppressed now, but I have one other cool thing I want to show you guys. Have you ever heard of a company called Aguila and their 12 gauge mini shells? You're not going to believe this. Check this out. I've become a big fan of these Aguila mini 12 gauge shells, especially out of my KSG shotgun. They work really, really well in the gun, and they're also lethal. A lot of folks out there might think that because they're so small that they're not capable of delivering a lethal punch, and that's not true. It carries a full powder charge. All they've done is reduce the cargo of the shell. So in this case, it's shooting a slightly smaller slug, and in the case of buckshot, it's just shooting fewer pellets, but it has a full powder charge. Sticking them in here, it's just like loading the KSG any other time. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. My fingers are getting numb. 10 and 11. It won't take 14 rounds because the shells aren't quite half the overall length of a standard 12 gauge shell. They're a little bit longer than half. So you can only get 11 rounds in there. Switch over, and then you can load another 11 rounds into the other side. If your fingers aren't completely numb like mine, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This takes a long time. 7. I mean, who in the world would believe that you could put this many shotgun shells into a pump action shotgun? It's incredible. And if you pump the shotgun right, it'll run them all reliably. Just keep dropping more and more of them in the snow. I think I'm getting pretty close to being full here. Yeah, that's pretty close. My fingers are so damn numb. I want to put some gloves on now, and we're going to shoot this thing a little bit more. It is incredibly fun. There we go again, running some more Aguila mini shells through the KSG. Definitely dry. Switch tubes. Holy cow, I saw the slug come out of that one. Had a really reduced powder charge. The slug just barely came out of the barrel. I could totally see it. Holy cow, man, your arm will get tired pumping this thing. Check that thing out, it's smoking like crazy. Man, that is entirely too much fun. What a great setup. So you have a KSG and you want to suppress it with the SilencerCo Salvo 12. You're going to need a couple of parts. First of all, you will have to replace your muzzle nut on the end of your KSG. This is a part that Kel-Tec sells. You'll have to pick one of these up. It comes with a tool that will allow you to use just a 1/2-inch wrench to go ahead and break that loose and then screw this on in place. The tool will allow you to tighten it down properly. Once you have that in place, now what that does is it gives you this section that's threaded on the inside, and it's threaded for Mossberg chokes. Next, you're going to need to contact SilencerCo or your suppressor shop and order one of these adapters for the Mossberg shotguns that will screw on to the end of your Salvo 12. And you can see the threads here. Now this is an improved cylinder bore. You can get it with different chokes. Once you have the two, you put one inside the other and screw them together. It's going to take a few rotations. The suppressor comes with a tool to tighten this nut down here where it attaches to the suppressor itself. It's a tool that I conveniently left at the shop today. So I can't clock the Salvo 12 properly. When I say clock it, because it is a square shape versus round, you can align it so that it sets perfectly aligned with your firearm where it's not cocked off to one side or the other. Something I can't do today because, again, I left the tool at the shop. So it's a pretty fine thread pitch. You're going to be screwing for a little while. Now when I... yeah, don't take that the wrong way. Anyway, so when I actually have it tightened down, you can see that the suppressor isn't square to the bore. I can rotate it back just a little bit and it'll be fine for the purposes of me shooting out here today. So what I want to show you guys next is, and I'm sure a lot of you shotgunners out there are probably wondering, is how does attaching this suppressor to your shotgun affect the point of impact? Only way we can tell you that is to show you. So let's find out. First, we're going to run 5 rounds out of the KSG with some slugs at the target, which is about 35 feet away. And then we'll take the suppressor off and use the same point of aim and see if that point of impact shifts at all. All right, here we go with 5 rounds of slugs with the Aguila mini shotgun shells. Now my sight isn't perfectly set, so it's going to shoot just a little bit low, but I'm going to be aiming at the A in the center of that IPSC man-sized target down there about 35 feet. All right, not the tightest group, but looks like it's about, I don't know, 3 or 4 inches low, but pretty well centered left to right. Let's take the suppressor off and see where those rounds hit after I take the suppressor off. All right, here we go again without the suppressor this time. Got my ears on. It's funny how many times you forget to do that when you're shooting suppressors. And here we go. I'm going to aim at the A in the head this time, and we'll see where it hits in relationship to that aiming point. Wow, talk about wildly inaccurate. It looks like it's hitting about the same spot. A couple of those rounds went to the top of the head. One of them almost went off the paper, but the rest landed right around that A. So it seems that the point of impact may shift just a little bit, but not a whole lot. All right, let's do the same test, this time with some buckshot. These are Aguila 12-gauge mini buckshot loads. I have 5 of them in the gun. This time without the suppressor, aiming at the A at the center of mass there on the IPSC target. Let's see where those rounds impact without the suppressor. Right square in the middle. All right, let's try it again this time with the suppressor in place. Okay, here we go with 5 more rounds, the Aguila mini shotgun shells with buckshot in them. With the suppressor this time, aiming at the A on the center of mass of the IPSC target about 35 feet away. All right, so it looks like it probably is hitting just a little bit lower, but it's still center of mass, just a little bit lower. So the suppressor is changing the point of impact ever so slightly. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed coming out to the range and playing around with the Salvo 12 and the KSG shotgun. I definitely have a newfound affinity for my KSG. I've been having a lot of fun with it. putting this Salvo 12 on the end is just over the top. Couple that again with Aguila 12 gauge mini shells, and this thing is just absolutely entirely too much fun and easily one of the coolest shotguns you can buy right now, assuming you can find them. They're still kind of hard to find. But if you guys have any questions about anything you've seen in the video, of course you can always ask those questions on our Facebook page. I'll put a link down below. Also, come by Copper Custom and check out our online store. That's the best way you can support the Military Arms channel, and we do have Salvo 12s for sale if you want to come by and check them out. So anyway, thanks again everybody for watching. We'll talk to you guys soon.